We can't just jump into things on a regular basis, try new things just because they sound good. Welcome to the Inspired Wave. This is the podcast and community for conscious female leaders and founders who are ready to enjoy more peace and prosperity in their business while creating more inspired impact in the lives they're here to serve. Who are ready to fully step into their leadership and live their life's purpose with confidence and passion. I'm your host, CJ Rivard, and with over 30 years in leadership and business, I blend tactical strategies with the art of intuition, the science of energetics, and the magic that happens when we create empowered relationships and take aligned action, all to help women get out of hustle mode, thrive, and really fall in love with what they do. If you're enjoying this podcast, please consider sharing it and leaving us a 5-star review. It really will make a huge difference in helping others find the podcast and allows us to inspire and impact more lives. Welcome to the show. We all know that systems and strategies are important for a sustainable business, but sometimes leaders pursue or they hang on to systems that no longer serve their business. Today I'm talking about how intuition can be used to help you determine what's most aligned for your unique business. So stay tuned. To start with, I'd like to explain what I mean by systems and why you should have them. A system is a set of procedures or processes that you set up to get something done. So basically, it's an organized method or framework. And systems are integral for a sustainable business. I often equate them to the concept of habits in people. So if you think about the last time you tried to create a new habit, it can take a lot of work and time and energy in the beginning, can't it? And frustration when you fail and you have to get up and start over again. It can be hard, but then all of a sudden, if you keep at it, it becomes a habit and it moves over into your subconscious and it's a lot easier and it doesn't require the same energy or the motivation it did when you were still starting. And this is exactly what systems do for your business. It creates efficiency for your business. They'll ensure that the high quality standards that you determine and set up will be maintained and that your procedures are replicatable as you expand your business or have staff turnover. Basically, they're critical for your quality control and more productivity, as well as scaling. Now, systems are different from strategies, but they will help you implement your strategies. A strategy is your plan that you put into place in order to achieve your big goal or vision. So as an example, in your business this year, you may have a goal of expanding your customer base by X percentage points. And so in order to do that, you may pick a few strategies to help you, such as focusing on a particular social media platform or maybe an ad campaign or something like that. So once you decide on your strategy, then you would set up the system to make sure that it's done in the way that you want it to be done and consistently over time, and that you're evaluating it and what's it mean if it's successful. So as an example, for a social media campaign, it might include things like who's going to be responsible for the content, what's the content look like, what's the frequency, who's going to be doing the interacting, what are the metrics that mean you've been successful, how often are you going to evaluate them. All those things could be baked into your system so that you know your strategy's being implemented and is working for you. We always have to evaluate what's working, don't we? So it's important here for a conscious business creator to know or to remember that
there's always going to be new systems and strategies that come into our awareness. And we can't just jump into things on a regular basis, try new things just because they sound good. We always have to evaluate it based on where our business is right now. So two businesses could have very different goals. So the rest of the industry could be really excited about a new strategy that's working for them, but they have a different goal from you. So then it may not be a good strategy for you. You're going to want to look at things like where your business is right now, what your goal is, what's the size of your business, your team, what's their skills, what are your customer desires, what's the economy look like for you where you live. There's so many things that factor in that make your business unique. And this is why there's no one size fits all. And even though all the people selling strategies out there want you to think that their system or their strategy will work for you, that doesn't make it true necessarily, because they don't know your business like you do. And every business is unique. So you want to always be evaluating if something seems like it may be right for your business based on where your goals are right now and where your business is right now. We know that constant pivots in a business is not a good thing. It'll cause confusion with your team and a lack of productivity. And if it's forward-facing, it could also cause confusion, dissatisfaction, or a loss of loyalty with your customers. So we can't be constantly trying new things that may not be aligned for us and, may just need changing again right afterwards. But on the other hand, we also know that hanging on to outdated systems and strategies can or will be the death of a business. So how do you decide what to implement and what to hang on to? This is where your intuition is going to be critical. You still need to do your market research and your due diligence, analyze the situation with all the available information that you can gather. That's important, and that'll, make your analytical mind feel better about it, but it also will give your subconscious more information to help you make a decision when you start to lean into your intuition. By all means, get the information that you need, but then typically these decisions don't end up being black and white, do they? There's always that gray that makes you wonder, well, should I do this or should I go in this direction? And that's when you need to lean into your intuition. It's going to be your best guide when you're unsure. Intuition is something that we all have, but very few leaders leverage it like they should. Now, I've spoken about intuition in a past episode, and we will link that in the show notes. I talk about how to recognize it and how to build it, begin to expand that intuition muscle, because it really will be instrumental for your success if you learn to recognize and follow it. And then when you're able to do that, of course, we know that things are always changing. So we need to be mindful once we've made a decision that there may be times when that needs to change, and it may not continue to be the aligned strategy or system that you need to be following for your current business goals. So it's always an evaluation process, not just when you implement, but then on an ongoing basis. We know all actions aren't created equal, and your time and resources are limited. It doesn't matter how big your team is and how big your business is, they are limited. So we want to be really critical in how we spend it and make sure it's the most aligned systems and strategies for our business at the time. So you continue to evaluate and then remain flexible as things may change or new information comes to you. The most successful businesses will stay nimble and adjust their strategies and their systems when they determine, not just on a whim, but when they determine that it's in the best interest of the business. And they don't take a long time doing it once they realize and make that decision. My best advice here is to just review your business goal and where you are in relation to that often. And are those implemented strategies and systems working in the way you would expect them to? Does it need a little tweak, or does it need a redo or a new direction? It's really important here to remember that you want to have your eye on the big vision or the goal, but not get married to the systems and strategies that'll get you there, because things do constantly change. So when you evaluate how you're doing, I'm not just talking about an annual review. You really want to dig deeply into this at least quarterly and honestly evaluate. Is this really as good as we can do? Is this what I can reasonably expect with this system or strategy? And be honest and okay with admitting maybe you chose that strategy and it's not working for you. Sometimes our egos can get in the way and we don't want to admit that we maybe chose the wrong direction and maybe we should have listened to that little intuitive nudge we were getting to try something else. But again, successful business owners are nimble and they're willing to be aware and recognize when something's not good anymore and switch when they need to switch. So you honestly evaluate and then you tune into your intuition. And, I talk in that episode about asking open-ended questions. So ask an open-ended question. You could say, what is the best use of my business's time and resources right now? And see what comes to you. Sometimes the answers will surprise you, but you will always be happy that you asked the question and that you listened to the answer.